Are you wanting to introduce AI to your students and help them to use it to support their learning? Stay tuned to this next tutorial and I'll walk you through all the ethical considerations and a few tools that will help you on your journey. Welcome to AI for Teachers. I'm Jen Twydale. In this next video, it is actually a tutorial from one of my new online courses. I'm currently offering 2 free online courses, Introductory to AI for Teachers Primary Edition and also Secondary Edition, both of which are being hosted on Udemy. So if you enjoy this following lecture and you think you would benefit from seeing other similar tutorials, please check out the comments and I will put a link over to the free course. Today we're going to be exploring the topic of introducing students to using AI to support their learning. First, we're going to discuss some of the policies and procedures that you'll need to explore with your school or district before you encourage students to use AI in the classroom. Then we'll look at the different ways that AI can actually support students and act as a tutor and a guide to help them in their learning journey. I'll also walk you through a couple of purpose-built AI tools that have been created for students and that have a few guardrails in place to ensure that the students are accessing appropriate information with the AI. Finally, we need to explore assessments and how we can develop these assessments and also give students very clear guidelines of what AI usage is appropriate and ethical when developing your final assessment, and making sure that we're giving assessments that can't just be produced using AI, really making sure that students are being able to use their critical thinking and showing their deep understanding of the concepts that have been presented to them throughout the units, and then being able to show us what they're capable of and what they understand in their final assessments. There are several different policies and procedures that a teacher needs to consider before encouraging a student to use AI within the classroom. I'll put a more thorough list in the lecture notes, but some of the big ones are making sure the students understand responsible AI usage. That should probably come in a large policy and procedure document that is known throughout the whole school, but that it will include things like teaching students how to cite where they got their information from, making sure that they have some understanding of the information that they put into AI and how it's collected, and also understanding the intellectual property of anything that has been developed by AI and understanding what their rights are and who owns that information. You also need to consider informed consent, because many AI tools have age limits. So for example, ChatGPT is not supposed to be used by children under 13 years of age, and anyone between the ages of 13 and 18 are supposed to have parent consent. So ensure, especially if there's a login, etc. required to access the AI site, that you have the appropriate guardian permissions for that. Of course, we always need to consider accessibility and inclusivity of any AI tool, making sure that your students have adequate accessibility, all of them, and that it is inclusive of all students, including students with any different learning needs. Now, I'm sure we've all had hesitations about having students use AI and had a bit of concern about them using it solely to produce final assessments without putting any of their thought or understanding into them. So I wanted to walk through some really powerful ways that AI can act as a scaffolding tool for students in their learning journey. Let's take a look using ChatGPT at some of the ways students can prompt to help guide their learning. So once in ChatGPT, the first thing that makes sense to do is just clarify a specific topic that they're learning about. And ChatGPT can do a good job at breaking down the concept for them. So a prompt as simple as, please clarify how the periodic table is organized, its elements. And ChatGPT can then give an overall explanation of how it is organized in quite a simple and concise manner. Something maybe more English focused, please outline the ways in which authors use language and structures to convey meaning. That could assist a student if they were about to write an analysis of an author's writing, and it will just give them some things to think about when writing that assessment. They might want to consider imagery, figurative language, dictation and tone, etc. And that will break down some of the aspects that they're wanting to analyze within a text. It even goes deeper into some structural choices, giving them many different things to consider. Another thing AI is great at is you can actually converse with it in different languages. So you can use it as a chatbot in a different language to work on your dialogue or your language that you're trying to develop. A simple prompt such as, "Can you please converse with me in French? Write your response in French and translate what you have said in English. Please make corrections to any of my responses." That way the AI can also let you know if you've made an error in what you've said and correct it for you. And you can simply use AI as a chat to have that discussion in another language. Another great tool that you can use is simply using it as a research tool. You can use a prompt such as, "Can you suggest some scholarly articles about the basics of the periodic table?" It will give you the names of the articles, and it will even hyperlink to some of the examples that it comes up with. Really quick and easy. You can also have a debate with your chatbot on obviously several different topics, and it can produce one side of the argument for you and help you create and understand different sides of a topic, and it can help you come up with some really great ideas of opposing arguments. You can start with a prompt such as, "Can you please have a debate with me? I will present the point of view of the importance of EV vehicles. Can you please present the opposite view to the current issues involving EV vehicles?" And you can continue with the chatbot presenting each of your sides of the story and the debate, and the AI will continue to come up with the view that you give it. Of course, AI is excellent at developing quiz questions, so if students are wanting to practice for an assessment, AI is a really great way to come up with different questions. You can do multiple choice, short answer, or a long answer, just to help you practice for upcoming assessments. Additionally, AI can also help you come up with flashcards. So a student could put in a prompt, "Please create some flashcards with keywords and definitions to help me study for my assessment on the periodic table." It also helps if the student gives the year level that they're in, so that the AI knows what level to pitch the flashcards at. And you can see here very quickly it can draw up some keywords and a short definition of several different aspects of what you're learning about to help you create some flashcards. Finally, students, as we know, can get some feedback in ChatGPT. What we really don't want is the AI rewriting the students' work for them. So a way around this to generate some feedback without having the whole assessment rewritten is to put in a prompt like, "Please do not rewrite, but provide feedback in a table. Include feedback on spelling and grammar, analysis, and overall structure of the text." And once you put in the text, ChatGPT can create a table and give specific feedback on each of the elements that you've asked it to. Now, as far as AI tools for students, there are several different options out there. There are tools such as Grammarly, which help students when they are writing written pieces. Also apps like Student AI, Khan Academy is a very powerful tool that works as a tutor to students on a number of different subject areas. And today I'm going to be walking you through the student version of Magic School. Now, the reason I've chosen this tool is because it can be very controlled by a teacher. The teacher launches the tools that are appropriate for their students to be using. There are some guide rails in place to make sure the students are only accessing information that are appropriate for the task. And the teacher can actually get feedback on what the students are putting into the AI tool. So that really helps the teacher seeing how the students are using it and able to guide them through the process. So I'll give you a quick tour on how that works. To get started with Magic School for students, you simply head into the Magic School site that I've shown you the teacher version for. Up the top, you head over to Magic Student, and it will show you the tools that they've created for students. So they have a chatbot builder, writing feedback, a research assistant, a translator, all the way down to a rap battle and different tools like joke creator, etc. They've also introduced a new tool called custom chatbot that you can upload information to that you want the students to be able to interact with the chatbot to answer questions on specific topics. Now, the best part of Magic School for students is that the teacher can choose which tools the students have access to. So once you go to Launch Students, you can create a room with the tools you want the students to be able to access. So you simply give your room a title of your course name. Possibly it is English 101. What grade level and how many students you want to be accessing this tool. When you hit next, you can choose what tools the students can have. So possibly you'd like them to be able to get a little bit of feedback on their writing, or you'd like them to maybe be able to generate some ideas for a text that they are about to write. Once you have chosen the tools that you'd like them to be able to access, you go to Next. And then you can launch your room to your students, and they'll be able to go in and only access the tools that you have given them access to. They can do this through a URL, Google Classrooms, or joining through a QR code. Now, once the students have started using the classroom, you are able to get some information about the prompts that students are actually putting into the tool. What I really like about Magic School for students is that teachers have a lot of control over what their students are accessing, and therefore are able to have some parameters, makes it a little bit more user-friendly, and ensures that the students are accessing the type of AI assistance that the teachers are wanting for each particular task. Now, what are some ways that we can create assessments that AI will struggle to create the whole assessment to make sure that our students are using their critical analysis and showing their knowledge without the use of AI? Well, step one, I think, as I talked about in the beginning, is making sure you have very clear guidelines with every single assessment of how much AI is appropriate for each assessment. You might want to consider making a table such as 0 AI use is acceptable, all the way through to utilizing AI fully for the assessment with human oversight, and giving some descriptions to each of those different levels, and also addressing what level of citing they need to also produce if they are using AI. It also makes the students, if they are allowed to use AI, go back and check where this information is being pulled from, so that at least they're checking the sources and having an understanding where the information that they're using in their assessment has come from. A table such as the one here just gives a rough guide of how you could utilize this within a classroom. Secondly, there are a few different things that AI aren't fantastic at, so you might want to try things like case studies so that the students have to apply the knowledge that they've learned and then use it in an actual real life scenario. You could also have an in-person debate or a debate that the children create. Again, AI can help you with that type of thing, but it might help the students to show their understanding. Other techniques you might want to use are using more human type responses, things that require creativity, empathy, such as what are the ethical ramifications of type questions within your assessment. And one that I also find very interesting, an option is to actually have AI create an assessment and then have the students reflect on the response and analyze if the response is good, what is good about it, and what could be improved. This can be really powerful, especially if the AI is generating multiple choice answers to something, because the students can look at the possible answers and explain whether those are 4 good actual options or what they would change or keep the same. This can be a really powerful way not only for the student to reflect on the knowledge of the topic, but also to gain an understanding that AI certainly isn't perfect, and you kind of are doing double duty by having them analyze what AI is producing. I hope you found that this lecture will give you a bit of guidance on where to start and things to consider before using AI in the classroom with your students. There are a number of wonderful AI tools out there specifically made for students, so have a play around, and I hope you find that AI can really help support your students in their learning journey. Remember to balance your work and well-being. My name's Jen Twidale, and this has been AI for Teachers. Remember to subscribe.